going over in that one. And then we have Titus coming out. He's playing a role. He's going to be the host and replace Gronk for the rest of the night. Obviously, a massive role they seem to enjoy now, just to get everybody on it. And then we get the SmackDown Women's Championship elimination match. Bayley, Sasha, Tamina, Lacey Evans, and Naomi. I've got to say, when this came on, I almost forgot about this match, and I was like, blimey, this could be another sort of long thing as well. But I would say out of all the 3 or 4 actually women's matches that we had across WrestleMania, this was probably the least one I was looking forward to. But I think, given the circumstance of the style of match it is without a crowd, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And I kind of gave this a decent pass because I still don't. My only big thing against this, RJ, is the fact I'm not sold on Bayley as a heel. I'm just not sold on it. I think she looks really uncomfortable.
I think I'll start by going back and saying, I don't think there was a bad match at WrestleMania this year. I don't think there was any bad match. I think like I said, I think all the performers gave 100%.
Sure.
But there was some match, and we've said this already. There's some matches that just deserved a massive gravitas. I think when we talk about the main event, we'll talk about that a bit more.
Yeah.
That deserved the gravitas of a full, a full stadium. This match, I think I guess what it was doing, it was serving the purpose of the whole Sasha Becky. Have we had Sasha and Bayley one-on-one since that amazing NXT match they had?
No,
they haven't done it, have they?
They still haven't pulled the trigger.
No, because I was thinking back to that, and I was thinking back to that earlier, because that. How many? That was 4 or 5 years ago, was it?
Yeah, I was there actually in person for that.
It was one of the. That was probably my match of the year that year. And I actually said, I remember talking about that match on Twitter, saying, "Don't call that the best women's match you've seen this year." So that is actually just the best match. Gender plays no role. That match was amazing, and I don't think we've had that. So I'm guessing this is where we're going. Is we're going to slowly build ourselves towards Sasha and Bayley. I think as well that I don't know if Lacey Evans has turned face, or I certainly think from this match this is where they're going with that. Is that they're obviously turning her face with this, which is cool, which is fine. I'm actually more kind of like, I don't know, and I don't know if this is just my perception, but I feel like there's a bit of Sasha doesn't quite have that shine that she used to have. Like there's something just seems a bit different about the way she's presented or the way she is presenting, where we just I just don't have that same vibe that you like, that boss vibe that she used to give off. So I'm hoping that they'll move into this program of, are we best friends or are we not? And then we get down to the nitty gritty of Sasha and Bayley going for each other. And I think what I'd like to perhaps have is, I don't know, maybe Bayley needs to go a bit more full-blown heel and Sasha was the face, because I think the dynamic in the previous one was Bayley was the face, wasn't she? Bayley was the face and Sasha was the heel. So they could either flip it like that. So, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Bayley's done enough heelish. I see what you're saying about. I'm not sure if she's heelish enough to come across as as the kind of heel.
Yeah, I almost wonder if WWE are a little bit hesitant themselves, just in case they do want to have her go as a face. Like, considering how old she was with kids and her merch, like, are you going to go too far that you can never get that back, or are they just being slightly careful about how? But she kind of comes across. I keep saying this is the sort of soccer mum of the US. Like, she's had her hair cut, independent woman. Amazing. That's the kind of vibe I get from her at the moment. She's grown up now. She's not taking any orders. But like you say, I was at that match you was talking about. That was bell to bell. The story they told, they didn't need all the stuff off screen, because they just told such an amazing story in the ring. And especially, like, I think the one thing I'll always take back from that match at that takeover for me was that when you watch it back, it was like neither of them. To me, like watching it in person, there's very few matches nowadays, especially doing what I do, where I just get caught in the moment, where I'm watching it just for what it is. And that was one of them. And it was just a case of like desperation on both of them not to lose. That's what it kind of came across to me. Like, every pinfall, the way they projected it on the screen was just like a great piece of art between both of them. And it is such a shame that since then, they haven't had like that. They haven't seemed to have gone on and established that on the sort of main WWE product, if you will. But I hope that that comes along down the line. But next up, the Firefly Funhouse match. Obviously, Bray Wyatt against John Cena. Now, I said this before we went into this on the first night. I said, like, I think the problem with this now is people will be comparing this to the Boneyard match. And I kind of said to everybody, you don't really want to be in that frame of mind.
No.
Because you've got to try and take them both as individual stuff here. Now, I don't even know if you call this a match or, I don't know what you call this. I'm interested to see what Dave Meltzer gives this in his scoring. But I don't know what you call it. What would you call this, RJ? I mean, got any ideas? Is it a match? Is it a...
No, it wasn't a match, but it was for me, I thought it was an amazing piece of cinema. I thought it was in effect, it was an extended promo. But I thought it was one of the best promos I've ever seen. I thought it was a fantastic, as a short film, it was amazing. I just thought it was so clever in the way it was done. I retweeted someone last night who did a breakdown of it, because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, I don't understand it. I don't know what I've just seen." It's like, well, it wasn't that hard to understand. It was the deconstruction of John Cena. It was amazing. It was, it literally tore the character John Cena to pieces, which I thought was amazing. And the bit that got me was just before he hit Sister Abigail, you had the echo of the promo Cena had done on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And it turns out that actually who he was talking about was himself. He wasn't talking about Bray Wyatt. He was talking about himself. And I just thought that was so cleverly done, so brilliant. Just amazing. Just I think like I said, it wasn't a match, and I think it was perfect. It's exactly what we needed to break up, this empty arena action with this cinematic, just short. I think that's what we'll call it. We'll call it a short, because it was a short piece of cinema. But do you know what? I just think it was brilliant. I'd love to see more stuff like that.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
Especially like John Cena, who's been like this unbreakable character, as it were, and it's finally felt like someone had broken him. The Superman of pro wrestling has finally been broken by someone. Yeah. Someone has finally got to him.
I agree.
So,
well, I mean, there was a lot to take in this match, but I think it's one of those things. It's one of the few times where I think, as a long-term WWE fan, very few times you get rewarded for being a long-time WWE fan, because they chop and change things so quickly, and they never talk about past stuff sometimes, and you've got to almost forget things that have happened just 6 months ago. But this is one of the few times where I think is a nice payoff. If you've paid attention to WWE and Bray Wyatt and John Cena in particular, this gives you that satisfaction when you watch this stuff. And if you're a real long-term fan like me, like when they done the kind of Saturday night's main event stuff, I thought that was really good. And they had the cage kind of thing in front of the promo like Hogan used to do. I thought that was really well constructed. Little bits in it, like the Vince McMahon puppet. I was just in hysterics when that line come along. Good shit,
amazing,
just fantastic. And there was so many little parts to this. The whole NWO John Cena, which of course people for years have been like, when is this guy going to be a heel? Yeah, and you kind of get a little bit of that in this, and so. Yeah, there was a lot of parts. I'm sure it's one of those ones where I'm sure every time you watch it, you'll find something new each time.
Absolutely. And do you know what? The only thing I could find to criticise, this is rubbish. This is such a rubbish criticism. I was gutted he didn't put on his red shorts with the black stripe, the actual original.
Yeah, I noticed that the second time reviewing.
He wore the orange. I mean, he had like 100, didn't he? He had like 100 different colours. Yeah. And I just thought for me that was the only tiny detail I thought would have been really cool if he'd worn the red with the black stripes, which he actually wore on his debut. Yeah, would have been amazing. So, but I think we just need to take a second to talk about the phenomenal shape John Cena is still in.
Amazing.
He honestly, he is superhuman. He really is. He just, and again, I think an incredible performance by both men. I think, I think that might be Bray Wyatt's greatest piece of work right there in terms of his character. And I think, but I think John Cena, the way John Cena reacted to everything was just brilliant. I think it was, loved it. I say, it's one of my highlights, of WrestleMania. I think it was different enough from the Boneyard match as well. I don't think.
Oh yeah, I agree.
One was like an old school action film, and that one was more like a psychological thriller. So you got two very different types of I mean, and on a side note, I mean, I actually hope we get a bit more of this going ahead, especially since next year's Hollywood, isn't it? It's WrestleMania in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'd love it if they took full advantage of that and we got a bit more of that next year. So.
Yeah, you wonder how now, because this has got grave reviews on both of them, you wonder if WWE will sort of change take. And I think these matches are good, but I just wouldn't overdo it. I wouldn't put them on all the time because I don't think
definitely not all the time.
But I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said about Undertaker, because for him this makes perfect sense, especially at the stage of the career. But everybody keeps harping on about Sting and Undertaker. I would much rather it be in that setting than I would in a Saudi Arabia show.
Absolutely,
in front of, what I mean. I would just, and I think both their characters, and because you can kind of get away with cutting the scenes and taking a few. You can have mats down or whatever. Like, it's still going to look fantastically much better than it would probably in a one-on-one environment at this stage of their careers. So yeah, who knows? Sky's the limit, I guess, on that one.
Absolutely,
for those things. So yeah, very something good coming out of this WrestleMania. So yeah, and of course, worth mentioning, of course, Bray Wyatt gets the victory back. So again, this hopefully gets a little bit of the rub on him now going forward as well, because this is it's no small feat to beat John Cena.
That's it.
No matter and
Cena's vanished. He's vanished into the ether.
Where has he gone?
Wherever him and Carl Anderson together in wherever.
It was. Do you know what was shocking as well is the fact they even put that Nikki Bella bit in, which I thought was quite. They even put that in there. So limits pushed. And of course, we then after this, I still got to remember we've got the WWE title match between Brock Lesnar and, of course, UK's own Drew McIntyre. I'm guessing I know what you're going to say about the comparisons.
Yeah, I mean, it's just okay. So obviously, I'm hugely excited. I am massively overwhelmed, especially for Drew. I met Drew. Oh God, it must be about 10 years ago. Before I met Drew a couple of times before he left for America the first time,
right?
Which was like 2008, 9, around that time. Before he went over to America and got signed the first time. Such a lovely guy. One. Yeah, before he goes, exactly. Such a lovely guy, so deserving, And I think to be able to have come back in the way he came back from his original release from WWE, where he then literally travelled the world, he went away and. What I love seeing a lot of the vignettes leading up to this is how young he looked.
Yeah.
When he was first in WWE, and he kind of went away. He proved his worth in Evolve and in TNA.
Yeah.
And I don't think people should not undersell actually how much he came along when he was with TNA. As well, and he became world champion there. And then when you see the picture of him now, he just looks grizzled, and I think it's a great look. By the way, that's not me saying he looks old and haggard. He looks grizzled, and he wears his years on his body, and I think that looked really great coming into this. And obviously, I mean, I didn't realise. Well, there was a couple of great moments. But, he came face to face with Lesnar, and he actually towers over Lesnar, but he actually looks down on Lesnar.
Yeah.
You forget Drew is so tall that actually he can actually look down on Lesnar. Yeah. And his comeback in WWE has been fantastic. The way they've built him, and suddenly from the Royal Rumble onwards as well, he's looked strong. He looks every inch a champion. He's tall. He's physically imposing. He's handsome. He has got, he has all the tools that you look for in a WWE superstar. I think that the letdown here is the gravitas, is the word I used earlier. Is just, I'm just in my head. I keep trying to compare what that would have looked like in an arena full of 80,000 screaming fans, and Drew lifting the belt would have been amazing in that setting. Having said that, there was a lovely moment, I think, just at the end of the match where he's holding the belt and he just looked straight down the camera and he put his hand out and he just said thank you, and I just thought that was a real chills. That still gave me chills, that bit. And I think though, I just think it's a bit difficult not to compare it to the title match the night before. There was a lot of similarities in the way they were structured. I think people just were expecting more of a fight